It's October 28th on the Alan Osborne Show. We're going to have an election update today. About 8 days to the election, and what's going on. What I hope's going on is Alan Osborne's becoming the sheriff, so we'll talk about some of that. Had a great day at the polls, and I think we're going to see a bigger turnout than ever, but there's a lot of problems that people don't understand. I had a lot of questions, got to talk to a lot of people, and I can tell you this. I absolutely believe any sane person who can sit down and talk to me will vote for me for sheriff, because I'm willing to answer questions. I don't need to, if I ever have a sheriff live show, it sure as hell won't start out by introducing Walton County to the rest of the world, because the sheriff's using our tax money to try to sell a brand about him. I don't give a shit what the brand of Walton County is. I care if you, the citizens, think that we're running it right. I don't care what the rest of the state or anybody else thinks, as long as the people paying the taxes think it's being run right. That's what matters around here. I'm going to have some different plans and programs. Somebody asked me, well, Alan, I said, I believe that anybody that will talk to me and talk to Mike and be asked the hard questions, not a bunch of political BS, will be happy with what my answers are. And I think if you're out there working for Mike and I worry you, you must be worried you're doing something wrong, because all you people out there doing it right, ain't nothing to be worried about me about. I have to do the right thing. I'll try to answer your questions, and I don't want to waste our money, and I want to make Walton County a better and safer place to live. The people own government, not the other way around. I think the government in Walton County has become a self-licking ice cream cone, as we used to call in the military. I don't care for that. I don't think that's what you want. I don't think you like being lied to. Now, the government makes mistakes, because if you don't think the government makes mistakes, and they want you to think that, then I got some oceanfront property to sell you there somewhere in northern Alabama. Nobody knows about it but me and you, but I'll make you a deal on it. It's one of those kind of things. Government's going to make mistakes. And I remember, remember when the government didn't admit stuff like Agent Orange, just forgot stuff like that. They killed 1,000 guys in the Army. And by the way, shout out to all you veterans blowing the horn for me out there. I honestly believe America would be better off if we had a law that 50% of Congress and the Senate had to be veterans. Somebody that had some ass in the skin in the game, who's had to go over at the whim of a politician to some country they really didn't want to go to, and unscrew it from what the politicians messed it up to be. I'm going to tell you, we got too many lawyers in Congress and too many lawyers running the show in the BCC. I'm going to show you some footage later of what I won't do as a sheriff, and I won't let my deputies do. I'm going to show you a picture of a planning meeting where the deputies hang over the citizens who are there concerned about the property and stare them down like the Gestapo on both sides of the room. It's meant to be forced intimidation with your tax money, but the fact is, I've been going to public meetings for 30 years, and never once have I seen where a situation arise that one deputy couldn't have handled and did handle. I mostly remember Alan White handled the meetings for years without issue, and he sure didn't need old Aldi Rao, and he's in charge of that BS. Aldi, if I get elected, your job's going to change one way or the other, because I won't put up with your crap. Aldi, you're in your little Gestapo. Audie, weren't you in charge of the Gestapo? If you guys don't know this, the sheriff and the BCC put my name on a list. It's on one of my shows called The List. Are you on the list? You better ask yourself, do you want your own tax dollars buying intimidation against you, their boss? That's not the intent of the sheriff's department under me, I'm going to tell you that. So somebody said, Alan, what would it be like if you were sheriff? Well, I'll just pretend I'm sheriff for a day. I guarantee you, live with the sheriff's going to be a lot different than happy to glad and rainbows and unicorns. We're going to talk about problems and solutions. And the solutions might come from you, the public. Whoever the smartest person in the room, I'm okay to hearing their solution. And if there happens to be somebody that's not in government, well, gee whiz, that sure ain't a first, is it? So that's how we do it. So we got big numbers coming out of the poll. If you're looking to help me, quit calling me. Get out to the polls and get a sign up and hold them up and tell your neighbors why to vote for me. Quit texting me and ask, what can I do? Okay, get out here and tell people. Show up at a poll, hold a sign. Remember Mike had all his paid employees and we got pictures of him all in the green shirts? That was all his own people. I want the people, you out there holding the signs for me. And I thank those who have helped me. You know who you are at Geronimo and South Annex and Defuniak Springs and Freeport today. All you people that have helped me and volunteered for me, thank you very much. I basically couldn't do it without you and wouldn't want to do it without you. I wouldn't want to be part of a government where the people weren't the most important thing. Because remember, in the military, we took an oath to the Constitution is what I did as an officer, both in the Army and the Air Force when I was an officer in both. Now, I took my orders from generals and the presidents, both Republican and Democrat. But my oath was to you, the people, the keepers of the Constitution. Now, I never forgot that, and that's how you serve in the military. I'm a conservative Republican my whole life, but I was able to serve under Democrats because I knew my oath wasn't to those buffoons. My oath was to the Constitution. I knew Clinton was a liar. Hell, Bush wasn't that smart. But my oath was to the people, and that's what really matters. And we always kept those oaths because without the people, there is no Constitution, and without the Constitution, there is no us, and that means the U.S. It's sacred. We got to stand up and save it. We got problems in America, and it's going to take people who are afraid to be unpolitically correct to solve them. Doesn't mean it's mean. You know, they beat up Trump today because some comedian said, "Stop with the immigrants." Okay, I'll put one word in there: stop with the illegal immigrants, because the key word is illegal. And I just watched the TV, and let me help you explain between truth and reality. For you people who have spent your life in the United States and not served in the military and not traveled, the world is cruel, okay? You living within the confines of the Constitution in the U.S. is such a privilege. It's really, I couldn't explain it on the Alan Osborne show in a short segment. But let's suffice to say that I don't care if you're black, you're white, you're Hispanic, you're an Eskimo family. I don't care if your family came from China, Indonesia, Tonga, you name it. I don't care what your background is. I'm going to call you an American. How about that? So if you, from any of these backgrounds, as an American family, should wind up in another country, and you're not supposed to be there, and you take grandma with you from this country to the country you're not supposed to be in legally, when they deport you, they're going to deport grandma's hind end at 96 years old. And they're not going to have any sympathy. It'll be in the dictionary between two words we're not going to use tonight. Anyway, but somehow I just listened on national TV, somebody saying, "You horrible person, you're going to deport those illegal people and their 65-year-old grandma." Well, 65-year-old grandma is illegal, and those same people drug her here. Now, can somebody explain to me why that's discriminatory? Listen, how is it? Because that's the way you would be treated as an American if you were in somebody else's country illegally. You wouldn't get paid housing unless it had bars in front of it. You'd be in trouble. I've lived in other countries. This pie in the sky, rainbows and unicorn thing that people are saying and shaming people into saying, "Oh, you're just too mean." Well, sorry, the word illegal is the problem. Illegal voters, illegal immigrants, illegal funds to here, and illegal jobs for these people. And we spent so much money. Did you know what those numbers are? And you know where I'm going to tell you. So let's go the first day as Alan Osborne as sheriff. I'm going to go thank the people, tell them I got some work to do, tell people to continue to do their job and do the right thing. And we're going to start to assess things. But one of the first things is this is not going to be a sanctuary county. And I'm going to put it out there. We're going to do a press conference. Don't come here if you're illegal. Everybody else, you're welcome. If you got the word illegal in front of you, you're gone. Don't come here. Don't come to Walton County. We're tired of that crap. We're not going to let it anymore. We've had a sheriff who's had a permissive environment because of developers making this a sanctuary county at the expense of our citizens, and I've had it. I don't mind some legal immigrants coming here to work that are paying taxes and are registered, and people we can go find that don't, 8 of them. We've got people on Facebook selling addresses and names in this county. You hear the sheriff telling you about it? I'm going to tell you the truth of what to be looking for and what to call the sheriff's hotline. We're going to reinvent Crime Stoppers so you have a way to tell us what's going on. They don't want that because the sheriff doesn't like you speaking in public. There's plenty of my shows on that. Yeah, there would be a new sheriff in town. I want cops to be cops. I want firefighters to be led by firefighters. I probably come before the BCC and tell the BCC that I don't think the firefighters belong under the sheriff. I think it's time for a referendum to elect a chief of firefighting and paramedics in this county, and let a firefighter lead a firefighter. And they say, well, Alan, you're not a cop. Hell, I'm a world cop. You slept safe on 9/11. Mikey didn't go save you. Come on now. He hired somebody 16 years unqualified. I'm ready to go to war for you guys to take this county back and make Walton County great again, and not run by the elected and the connected, but to be the benefit of all. There's a balance between good tourism, solid investments in property values, and quality of life. But right now, we've got some serious people in positions that are stopping this. We've got nepotism and corruption. I can't tell you how many people have stopped to talk about me, besides the question on abortion and marijuana, which I'm not going to nationally affect as a sheriff, or in the state of Florida. People are going to vote how they want to vote on that. And somebody asked me about Amendment 3. Hell, I'll tell you, I'm voting no on it. I would have wanted to vote yes, but I just see it as another monopoly because they don't let you, the citizens, when Alaska recreationalized marijuana, they don't have a huge black market problem because everybody can grow 10 or 20 plants or whatever it is. I know they were the first state, one of the first states to do it. But I think voting yes will just create a worse illegal market. And if it's truly recreational, why can't I grow it with the corn? Because if you vote yes on it, it'll mean you can go pay somebody for some, but you can't grow it yourself. Now, what if they made corn is a legal plant? Corn is approved for recreational use. Let's just make this funny. And so let's say corn and pumpkins once were illegal, and then we legalized them. So what if somebody said, hey, you can't grow that corn and that pumpkin in your garden and eat that unless you pay us or buy it from us? Isn't that a form of socialism? So you boys and girls that have been sold yes on Amendment 3 as your ticket to freedom, that's just your ticket for having a permanently commercial person for you to pay. Kind of like paying for beach chairs when you can carry your own. I just don't believe in that. Now, I believe there should be a limit. Maybe you can only grow 10 or 20 or what one of these other states does. But in North Carolina, where tobacco is legal, you can grow enough for all the personal use you want because it's the tobacco state, as long as it's a certain size or less, for your personal use without paying tax on it. Nobody taxes you for your corn or your pumpkins if you grow them and consume them yourself. So aren't they really just selling us a bunch of legal mumbo jumbo? I was hoping 3 would get rid of the marijuana issue, except for testing people to see if they're under the influence when they're driving cars and endangering people. Other than that, I've seen a lot of fights in the military with drunks, but in the places I've ever lived, I've never watched a bar fight get broken up because the stoners had taken over. I don't know. That's just an observation on the Alan Osborne show. But damn, this bill doesn't seem to fix the marijuana issue, and I'd rather concentrate on fentanyl and other things that ruin a community. I think this is a waste of money, but I see the lawyers are determined to keep it complicated. It either is or it isn't recreational. If it is, As far as I'm concerned, it's corn and pumpkins unless you're driving under the influence of it. But that's Alan. I answered the question. I'm sure Mike won't explain it that way. But that's the way I'm going to explain most stuff if you ask me, with some common sense. And I'm going to ask you, what do you think? You explain it to me another way. Maybe you can convince me. You know, maybe I need to sit out in Defuniak Springs with us. I think the sheriff is ripping us off at one of them tables with a sign that says, "Convince me otherwise." Who's managing his vehicle fleet? You know, who's doing this? Who believes that you can? Yeah, I want to see his audits. So let's just say, first day, I'm going to make that announcement. It's not a sanctuary city. If you're looking to commit crimes in Walton County, I wouldn't do it. We want a good community here. Other things, there'll be some people that'll be leaving jobs. I want to tell you right now, I'll probably get rid of that fire chief. I don't care. If he serves it at the will of me, as the sheriff says, that this is an at-will sheriff, well, then at my will, there's going to be some different leadership. And I'm going to suggest that the BCC have a referendum. Now, what I would like to have is code enforcement, because having the people who are breaking the code over in the county be in charge of telling whether they're breaking it or not, that crap needs a separation of church and state. And I'll straighten out code enforcement. Everybody says, what are we going to do about it? Give it to the sheriff and take the fire department back where it belongs, and let's get this straight. Okay, the South Walton fire system works pretty good. Maybe the whole county needs that, where we all just pay for our own fire service and we give the paramedics and firefighters their actual budget they need to do their job without interference from other sections. Yes, there's got to be a way to report it. Okay, make it reportable to a person by election, and we'll end this nepotism of hiring somebody who can get convicted in a court and still keep their job. I don't think any of us need a $80,000 furniture picker-outer that you happen to have a close relationship who's abused a credit card. How many of you people think you ought to be making $80 grand a year without a professional trade or license or college degree? And you've been in trouble at your job and you become employee of the year? That horse shit. That horse shit with Corey Godwin get taken over the jail. Pardon my language, but that's just what it is. I ain't got time to be politically correct, and I think y'all are all sick of it. We politically correct ourselves into this nation, damn near putting ourselves in a weak position against the world, and I don't think the patriots like it around here, and I hope you'll be with me, a patriot who doesn't like it. So we had great turnouts in Freeport. Like I said, thanks to Jen, Tabitha, Lori. I don't want to miss anybody. Randy, all the people out there volunteering to hold stuff for me. Terry and Tina. I'm going to get all of you. I want to thank you personally for caring enough to come out here and try to make change. And to all the people who talked to me and all the people who didn't, I wish you had. We could have talked about it on the Alan Osborne show, and I hope it'll be Alan Osborne, the Sheriff Live. I'll make you feel good about it. No, I don't want to be the sheriff forever. I figure I can straighten it out in about one term. A couple of years after all they give you in the military, I should be able to show you some results in those. And I dang sure think there's a lot of waste. I don't care about selling Walton County as a brand with your tax money. I'd rather you have some more ball fields, or we had some better police equipment. We damn sure need some dog nooses. I won't let my deputies shoot your pets and go unpunished, okay? I'll investigate some of this stuff and put a stop to it. And you deputies that are doing the right thing, you know how promotions are going to work? On merit, education, and performance. This DNA and who's on whose baseball team growing up, who slept with who, I don't want that stuff in my sheriff's department. Let me tell you what an unprofessional relationship is in the sheriff's department. Whether you're married, straight, gay, any race you're from, any religion, this is across the board. If your personal relationships cause the unit to become ineffective, or a poor environment in which the officers, men and women of the departments can thrive, then you've affected the readiness of this unit, and your personal life is now affecting the professional life of the taxpayer servants, and it'll be stopped. Those days will be over. This hanky-panky at the taxpayers and paying off lawsuits and stuff like that's investigated. We sold a piece of property for $300,000 for that was appraised at $1.5 million. I'm gonna look into that kind of crap. If the state attorney don't want to look into it, I don't care. I will. And I'll go tell you if they don't want to do anything about it. Mike's got this secret handshake where all this stuff just goes away, like the charges to Chaz and lots of others. I don't like this stuff. And a lot of you have told me you don't like it either. And I want to be different. So those are some things that you can expect on the first day with Alan Osborne. We're going to talk about standards. And no, I'm not going to wipe off the earth with a scorched earth attitude. I know a lot of you out there are good, and I couldn't do the job without you. But I want to make sure that you know that standards matter. And we're going to establish what those standards are. And whatever standard I give to you, I'm going to have to do it too. It's not going to be exceptions for me or my friends, because my friends ain't going to be working there. It's going to be a professional organization. I don't need any more friends. I'm old and retired. I'm coming out of retirement to save you from a guy who can't control his own fork and knife or pontificate and tell you the truth. He lives in a nepotism world, and most of the people in his leadership are products of that nepotism. And it's time for performance-based promotions in everything we do in government. Excellence is only what you demand of yourself. And right now we've got a big cover-up going on. We need Tony Anderson out of that seat too. As a sheriff, I don't trust him. You shouldn't either, because he's not acting right and he's not accepting any responsibility. So you just can't trust people like that. I believe in the Miller kid will do any better a job than Tony will. So for you people out there, I thank you for voting. Well, if you didn't vote for me and you're one of the people who flipped me off or tore my sign down on 98 and stuff like that, I'm glad you voted. You're still a jackass. I don't mind saying stuff like that, because I'm not going to sit here and say they're not. All you people who flipped me off, same to you. You ain't got the guts to get out here and talk about the issues, and that's why you just scream at me. Because come on down to let's I can do some live Alan Osborne shows or live with the sheriff, and we'll talk about these issues in real time. I don't know what else I can offer you. That's what a day with Alan Osborne will be like. But I'd sit back and I'm going to assess the situation. But I'm very concerned about the waste in money. And I want to do the best job I can in making this county safe at the best price I can, because government doesn't make any money. Remember, they only take our money and redistribute it. I don't mind redistributing some of it for the safety and welfare of the community. But some of this crap we're paying for, brand names and people with job statuses they ain't earned, too much upper leadership and not enough feet on the ground out there with patrol officers. I look at the sheriff's posse running around. I want to see what their accomplishments are and what their costs are. I want to know what we're spending on lobbyists and lawyers. And I want to ask you, do you want to spend this money? I don't think I need to be lobbying for anything. If I'm the sheriff, I think to be making your community safe. I sure don't need to be. I won't be teaching school at FSU. How about that? I'm not going to be doing any side jobs. I'm not going to be going out taking a contract here and there. So that's what it'd be like with Alan the sheriff. So, boy, I hope so. And so let's go to the other coin. What happens if I lose? Well, if I get thousands of votes, it'll go through the state as a record and show just how dissatisfied this Republican in name only, Michael Atkinson, is a bureaucrat. He's not really a cop, never has been. He's just a product of bureaucracy and his uncle being a lawyer to get him off to the start. You can't make this shit up on the Alan Osborne show, but as I've said for years, you can unelect it and even elect me as an option now. What a treat. So if you think spending $750 million without any real audit or accountability is what you want, then pick none of the above that's above my name. He'll meet none of the above requirements that I've talked about in this show. I'd happily debate you, Mike. I got no problem saying to you and Audie and all your leadership, Dustin, and all the rest of you who've played this chicken shit game with me, I'll tell you exactly what I think of you any day. And you people that are running the goons, you should ask your BCC. Why is the BCC tolerating all these deputies staring down and being part of the meetings? And I'm going to finish up the meeting with what it's like. If you've never been to a public meeting, we've got where the deputies are like Gestapo staring over the crowd. You won't see another county where they do that. They're way out of the picture. They're letting the political process and the constitutional process roll, and here they are used as a Gestapo. I'm going to go to a quick break and look at this. Hang on just a second. Now, this is your most recent planning meeting. There are 2 cops in the room. Look where that one's standing, and sometimes he stands closer to the podium. And if anybody at the podium says something that the board doesn't like, he stands closer. Why? And there's another one you can't see here just to the left. So anybody who wishes to speak as their constitutional right somehow needs to be stared down by an armed sheriff in order to express something that they disagree with. Now people say, oh, it's for their safety. Let me tell you something. I've been going to these meetings for 30 years before most of these deputies had ever sworn an oath to anything other than a box of cookies. Okay? Nothing has ever gotten out of the hand that required. I've seen some meetings lately that had 4 deputies and Audie row at it for no good reason. And staring down. Bobby Hoke, I promise you, if I'm sheriff, you're done being a bailiff. You can go to the street, son. Your intimidation of the public and the kingdom that you think you live in the Constitution, that somehow you're part of the BCC process. I can show you tapes where Bobby's trying to encourage the commissioner to let him go silence somebody. This is ridiculous, and this is how your police force is used to intimidate citizens. All kinds of people have talked to me about this issue. Hold on, I'll get back on the page here. Hang on. About the goon squad that hangs over all the public meetings. Let me tell you, this is Tony Anderson, your chair, driving this, and these past deputies, starting with Bill Chapman. Stan, there's a Stan, our administrator, not doing a damn thing about this misuse of force. Stan, it's ridiculous. How about you get up off your keister and do something, Stan? Complete disappointment. Complete disappointment. Can't follow the rules. I hope they can his ass. He's done nothing but perpetuate nepotism. I understand now that they're going to help us out into another lawsuit because they've already promised Breezy, Boots' aide, a job at the county in HR where she's never worked. Unreal, because they're facing a lawsuit by another aide they refused to give a job, and all the aides are supposed to sign an agreement saying they know they're not getting a job when their commissioner leaves office. This is what I'm talking about. There's different rules depending on who you are in Walton County, and I understand they want to hire Boots too. What BS? This is just pure garbage is all this is. And I'm going to expose it on the Alan Osborne show. So, and if I'm not elected, guess what? We're going to be doing a lot more Alan Osborne shows, and they'll be much harsher than the sheriff would be live. So if you want to neuter what I can say, then you'll have to elect me to do it. What a quandary I put some of you that hate me in. If you want to shut me up, you'll have to elect me and make me play by stricter rules. It's your choice. Pick your poison. And you can't make this shit up on the Alan Osborne show. But you can unelect it and vote for me for sheriff. I've been out there for the last 40 hours of early elections waving at you and answering questions. Come see me. And join. If you want to help me, get out there and hold a sign. Tell your neighbor. Make sure they know how to spell my name. Make sure they know I'm a conservative Republican. And make sure they know that when they laid in bed in 9/11 and worried who was responding, that Alan Osborne was responding for Walton County, and you were in good hands. And that's the way it was October 28th, but it could be different if you'll just do what's in the background. Till next time, y'all keep them straight. They can't keep themselves straight. You hear? I'll see you soon.